I am Trump's hat. Do you really think the sniper missed in the attempt to assassinate Trump? You're completely wrong. I'm the one who saved him in that moment. I am the red hat. I was made from cheap fabric, but I sparked a revolution. At first, I was just a head covering, stitched with the phrase, "Make America Great Again." The phrase wasn't genius, but the timing was. In 2015, Donald Trump chose to produce only 100 hats, to be worn by himself and his team at small rallies. No one expected that such a simple phrase, on such a simple hat, would carry a businessman with no political background all the way to the White House. I was present at every rally, in every speech, on his head in the most controversial moments. Soon, I was visible everywhere, in newspapers, protests, satirical shows, even on banned items lists in schools and offices. Tens of millions of me were sold. I became a cultural phenomenon. They even said Trump funded part of his campaign through selling me. But I wasn't just a promotional tool, I was a declaration of war. Everyone who wore me wasn't just saying they supported Trump. They were saying they stood against everything else. Against the media, against Democrats, against globalization, against the elite. I was the banner that united those who felt that America was being sold to China, that their country had changed too much, and that their voice was no longer heard. I accompanied Trump into the White House. I was with him in closed-door meetings, in conferences with Europeans, in discussions about trade, immigration, and Iran's nuclear deal. I was there when alliances were broken and when major decisions were signed. Withdrawal from the Paris Agreement, tariffs on China, rapprochement with North Korea, and open criticism of NATO. Then came the moment they tried to bring him down. Impeachment, legal threats, and the media portraying me as a symbol of racism and division. But I stayed. Even during the Capitol riot, I was there. I wasn't the instigator, but I was the badge. When someone saw me on a protester's head, they knew. The anger had reached its peak. When he lost to Biden in 2020, they said I was finished. But the truth? I was only hiding, waiting to return stronger. And in 2024, with the election campaign heating up, I came back. But this time, I was different. Bigger, brighter, with bolder letters, and soaked in blood. Yes, in Pennsylvania, at a crowded rally, an assassination attempt took place. A bullet pierced the barrier and hit Trump. But the moment everything changed was when he stood up, raised his hand, and I was on his head, covered in blood. And he shouted to the cameras, "I'm okay." In that moment, I was no longer just a hat. I became a living symbol of survival, of rebirth, and of the long-awaited comeback. Then the campaign exploded. Approval ratings soared. The base rallied around him like never before since 2016. At the same time, divisions began to emerge within the movement itself. Some MAGA supporters questioned his ties to the far right, his hesitation on supporting Ukraine, even his stance on Saudi Arabia, Russia, and China.